This video was sponsored by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code CLNS20 for 20% off of your purchases. Adam writes in, says, "Hi, Zach. You're a great YouTuber, and I love your podcast. You're very knowledgeable about sports, Adam. Thank you so much." He says, "I played football, and I'm an aspiring coach. I don't know if you've done coaching or not, but you played longer than I did. Can you tell me a time when you were getting ready to play an opponent that in every facet of the game was better than you? Sort of like an FCS opponent not named North Dakota State. So let's say Sacramento State. Sort of like Sacramento State going up against a school like, say, Ohio State or Alabama, where every media outlet is expecting you to get blown out. What is the message like that week leading up to a game from the coaches? I know the objective is to win and play the best you can, but players are smart. And when I was a senior in high school, my varsity team went 1-8. The only win was coming against a 4A Gladstone, and we missed the postseason for the first time in a long time for the high school I went to. And the coaches at the beginning of summer knew that it was going to be a tough outing for the year, as the varsity team lost like 22 seniors, and the majority of my team did not have much varsity experience. In fact, only about 4 or so players returned from the previous year, and we had the league's toughest schedule by far, as nearly all the teams we played made the postseason the previous year and were slated to do it again that year as well. So I sort of remember the message, but I always had the mindset that we could win every game, but there were players on the team that did not have the same optimism as I did. And even before we started playing games, it showed. We got blown up at Wilsonville, whose quarterback was Connor Neville, good friend of mine. We got blown up by Central, got blown up by Springfield. Summit, who had Drew Bledsoe as their quarterback. I think he means Drew Bledsoe's son. Drew Bledsoe is the coach of Summit, I believe. That's in Bend, Oregon. What is a message like from a coach when you know a blowout is likely? Adam, one of the best questions I've ever been asked on this podcast. Let's take our time. This is complex. You need to handle this carefully. This topic is very important. And there are a lot of rah-rah, high-energy coaches that kind of just say things out of their butt that handle a situation like this poorly. When a team is likely to get blown out, what do you say to your guys? What do you say to your players if you're the coach? And number one, this is important because you got to be honest, but you also cannot tell them that you're going to lose, because if you say, hey, kids, we're going to lose, number one, it's too easy to misinterpret. I mean, a kid tells their parents you're getting fired. It's not good. And the other problem is maybe you crush a kid's spirit. I mean, there are kids that may not have the maturity to hear and process that information that, hey, you're playing against, what's that team? Sheldon, Oregon, and they're incredible, and they're going to kick the crap out of you. You have no chance. So it's a fine line, but you also want to be honest with your players. You don't want to give, again, say everything but you're going to lose. But be honest. Say, this is going to be a tough game. The worst thing you can do is lie to your players. If you lie to your players, if you're not authentic, they can smell it. They know. People can smell inauthenticity. It doesn't work. It's just not a good, effective tool as a coach, or really any facet of life. It's just not good to be unauthentic in my mind. When I was in high school, I played the best team in Oregon. It was Sheldon High School at the time. We got killed like 64-14. That was my sophomore year. And then in Washington, we played against Camas, Washington. And both of those teams won state. And we knew, I wouldn't say we knew, but people didn't think we had a shot in those games. And you can't say to them, like, if you don't believe your players can beat a team, don't say, we're going to beat these guys if you don't believe it. That's just inauthentic and wrong. But also saying that you have no shot is unhelpful. It's just not good. You want to give your players hope. So here's what you do. You give your players a detailed plan to say, hey guys, look, this is going to be the hardest game of the year, maybe of your lives. These are the 7 things we need to do. And if we do these 7 things, we're going to be in a really good position in this game. So like, hey, they love this tunnel screen. We're going to take away the tunnel screen. We're ready for it. They run it all game. We're going to take this play away. Or they love running outside. We're going to shut them down outside. We're going to set the edge. They're not going to win by running outside. And then you tell them, here's how you do that. And you practice the details it takes. Like, hey, here's how we set the edge. Or we're playing cover 2 this week. We're not going to let them hit a hole shot. We're going to practice a hole shot a ton. Whatever little nerdy nuance you need to tell your players to get them ready to shut down those things you're trying to do in that game plan that week, be very detailed, be very clear. Give them a list of goals to shoot for. Number 1, if you shut down what they're good at, but they still beat you, say you They're really good at 10-yard outs. They don't complete a single 10-yard out, and they're really good at tunnel screens. They got this tunnel screen they love, and you do not let them win with that tunnel screen, and they're great at running the ball outside, and your defense doesn't let them run the ball outside. So you shut down the things they're good at. If they make an adjustment and beat you, then hey, at least you challenged them, and you made them beat you a different way. You took away what they're good at, and then if they beat you, hey, at least we did everything we could. So that's okay. You challenged them. You made them beat you a different way. That, to me, if you're playing against a team that's way better than you, you get the crap kicked out of you, but you take away what they're good at, that's a win. It's like a meta win. And if you can't stop them at what they're good at, you can't stop the 10-yard out, you can't stop the run to the outside, the tunnel screen shreds you, then it's very clear. Guys, we know why we lost. We had an expectation, we had a goal, we didn't meet it, and they kept beating us outside. Their tunnel screen killed us. We know why we lost. Whatever it is they do well, aim to take it away. But you can't lie to your team. You can't take away their hope, but you got to be honest. Say everything but we're going to lose. You can't say we're going to lose. But look, say again, this will be the hardest game of your lives. And give them clear goals. Let them play that meta game where you might lose, but you can have a small victory where when you watch film, you play games Friday night, Saturday morning, you go in to watch film and you go, guys, we lost by 30 points. But let me tell you what, Jimmy took away that 10-yard out. They didn't complete a single 10-yard out to their tight end all game. Find little tiny victories along the way. So if you lose, you can say, look, we did good stuff in this game. Find things to aim for. Find things to shoot for. The key is giving your players something to fight for. And then tell them to enjoy it. If I was a coach at New Mexico State University and we were traveling to Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium to play Alabama, then, or maybe you're in high school, maybe you're a Texas high school team and you're playing Allen, Texas, or you're in California, you're playing modern day high school, right? No matter what the situation is, if you're playing a team that's really good and it's going to be a cool atmosphere where, hey, the crowd's huge and it's like a once-in-a-lifetime crowd. If you're at Alabama, for example, and you're New Mexico State, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play in front of a crowd like that, and you're playing a cool team in a cool big stadium, and your team might not have a shot, but tell them to enjoy that experience, enjoy that journey. And then really, it's rare that you ever have a game where your team has truly no shot at all. It's very rare. I mean, Appalachian State beat Michigan. And so I would throw that out there. Say, look, at least put it out there. We have a shot pretty much always. There's very few situations where you don't have a shot. At least throw it out there to their players. Remember, here are some examples of some big upsets where no one expected a team to win. Give them hope. So these are the things I want you to take away from this. Don't lie to your kids. Don't give them false hope. Be realistic. But give them some hope and give them clear goals and expectations. And then tell them to enjoy that experience, the crowd, the big stadium, yada, yada. And then again, the death penalty. Don't tell them they're going to lose because, number one, it's too easily to be misunderstood. A kid tells a parent and you're on the hook and you're getting fired because it's too easy to get misinterpreted. And then also, you might crush a kid's spirit who doesn't have the maturity to process the information you're giving them. So again, don't lie to your kids. Give them clear goals, clear expectations, and tell them to enjoy that experience. That's my advice to any coach who doesn't know what to tell their players when they're playing a game against a team that is just far, far superior to them.